there's an interaction between your breath and your nervous system that as you have this longer exhale, especially if you're doing diaphragmatic belly breathing, it's going to trigger a part of your nervous system that slows down activity. Now, if your stress response is in overdrive and you do just this couple cycles of breaths where your exhale is longer than your inhale, so maybe 4 seconds in and then 6 seconds out, it's not going to put you in that sweet spot. And you're not going to go, wow, I feel super calm right now. That might not happen. However, what is going on is you're managing the stress response. It's not going to be as intense as it was. And this can feed into confidence because now you're taking control of the situation and you will actually feel a bit better because that stress response is, again, alleviated in some capacity. So can you speak about how batters can use breathing as a tool to boost their mental game in this bases loaded situation?
Yeah, so it's just there, like you said, it calms you down, it slows the game down. You almost see things before they happen. And when you're in your best state of mind, that's what I see. It's like I'm almost seeing it a split second before it even happens. And it's just because you're so locked in, you're calm, your heartbeat isn't out of this world, and you're just in the right state of mind, right? You're in an optimal performance state. And so if we're in those states of mind more often than not, it's going to give us a better chance to succeed in those situations. But like I said earlier, you can do everything right and still fail, and you can do everything wrong and still succeed in this game. And so that's the craziest part. So there's some give and take, but for us, let's just think about what the breath does. You said it best. Like there's that interaction with the nervous system, brings more oxygen to the brain, allows you to think more clearly in those situations. So for me, I can go in there with rapid heartbeat and where things are spinning out of control, my mind and my emotions are getting the best of me, or I can take ownership of that. And it comes from training that throughout the day and throughout your weeks and those things. You do skills and tools to do that. But in those moments, I've got to trust that. Right. And so I had an athlete the other day, told his dad, he's like, I'm really trying to do what Austin's telling me, but it's just not working. It's like, okay, well, it's been 4 games, right? Not everything's going to work. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself to succeed in the first place. And so let's just look at what it is. Like you're putting more pressure on yourself to get hits instead of have quality at bats. And when we think about, I got to get the result versus let me just compete and have fun, there's a huge difference in how I feel and my heartbeat and my mental state and all of my things that I'm telling myself in my head. So you're spot on, man. The breath is important. You'll see a lot of big leaguers and college guys and girls too. Baseball, softball, doesn't matter. They step out of the box, big, deep breath. They get back in. They get themselves ready to compete.
I mean, the breath is one of my favorite tools because unlike mental rehearsal, it is even easier to use. You don't have to do this thing where you're closing your eyes and using a lot of power, a lot of brain power to imagine all these senses. The breath is always with you. Nobody can even know you're doing it sometimes. It's just so powerful. And it's a great anchor to that present moment because you can use it to lock into how it feels. And if you're focusing on one of your senses, you are in the present moment. And doing that while also managing that stress response, it's just a great tool. So yeah, and I love all the stuff you post on Instagram at Major League University. I love seeing all of the big leaguers talk about how they use the breath in all these different ways. That always, I think, helps the buy-in for a lot of these people. And they go, okay, maybe there is something to this.
Oh, my mom's not just telling me to breathe.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this works in the dugout, trying to prepare for a big moment when you're nervous, going through some breathing exercises, but it is just as effective in your in-between pitches, stepping out of the batter's box, doing those breaths. So this is just, again, a versatile tool that is important to practice and get comfortable with so that you can feel confident using it when the moment asks for it.